Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi, my name is Arvind Raman. I'm the John A. Edwardson Dean of Engineering. Welcome to the Neil Armstrong Hall of Engineering. Welcome to the cradle of astronauts. Welcome to these haloed grounds for space exploration. It is here that we gather to watch and celebrate as each Boilermaker launches into space. It is here that each day thousands of students walk through, pass by, watching videos of Boilermaker astronaut legends upon the screen behind me. It is here they see suspended high above the command module of Apollo. It is here that many of them dream of breaking the surly bonds of gravity and meeting their destiny among the stars. And it is here that they know if they dream it, it might well become a reality. It is therefore befitting that we gather again here today to celebrate the launch of Purdue's next giant leap in space. Will you please join me in welcoming our inspiring leader, President Meng Chiang.
Well, good morning, Boilermakers. I see many inspiring faces. How are you up there? Third floor, second floor. There are extra charges for you to stand there. Well, what amazing morning here on Purdue campus here in the Neil Armstrong Hall of Engineering. And it wasn't long ago that the Neil Armstrong Space Prize was unveiled in Washington, D.C. on the 56th anniversary of those small steps on the face of the moon. And it is not just Neil Armstrong. We now have actually 30 astronauts, including 26 NASA astronauts, truly the cradle, including Adam and Yuri just yesterday. And I called both of them outstanding Boilermakers, and they are going to be among the cohort of 10 latest NASA astronauts to go to the moon again and then to Mars. And it's not just the NASA astronauts, but also the commercial astronauts as well, including those who take suborbital flights. And I have been told it's quite an experience. And among them, Beth Moses from an amazing company called Virgin Galactic. And they are out there to blaze new trails towards that endless frontiers, to inspire us in yet new, different ways. And it's not just the astronauts, it's all of you. Those who work on propulsion and navigation, those who work on building a resilient habitat with manufacturing of pharmaceutical and chips on the moon, those who work on the telescopes and the rovers, and those who work on every single science projects and missions throughout the inspiring history as we look up to the outer space and wonder where we could be. It is all rooted in that Purdue and American spirit of human exploration of outer space. And it is in that same proud spirit and heritage that I stand before you this morning, along with great partners, to announce something that has never been announced before, I believe. With our great partner, Virgin Galactic, we're going to have a suborbital space flight crewed entirely by Boilermakers. We are going to call that flight Purdue One, Mission Purdue One. There are usually 6 seats, I'm told. They're going to have to save one for research experimentation facilities. There will be 5 humans there, including professors, students, and alum. And 3 of the 5 you're going to see later this morning, including Professor Steven Collicott, a great Boilermaker student, Abigail Mizzi. And one of the outstanding alum, we have Jason Williamson. Congratulations on this pioneering Purdue One crew. Now, let me tell you just a word about what they're going to do on this suborbital space flight. They are actually going to do teaching, learning, and research while on the flight. They're going to have moments of teaching and learning together, and they're going to run some very important experiments there, such as the behavior of fluids under zero gravity. I'm told that that's what they're going to do. I have no idea how that experiment is going to be carried out, but we have amazing faculty, students, alum who are going to run experiments, do their research, innovation while doing teaching and learning, all while they're in space. We are going to take Purdue to space. Why should a university be confined to that surly bond of gravity here on Earth? We're going to have university up in space, and that will be your university, Purdue. Now, this would not be possible without the great partnership of this incredible company. And it is my great pleasure now to introduce the amazing Mike Moses, twice Boilermaker, a leader at Virgin Galactic, a pioneer in commercial space flight, and our partner to make Purdue One possible, so that in the future, when you stare into the night sky, you're going to see, yes, the moon, Mars, you're going to see the sun, you're going to see many amazing objects, and then you're going to see a little bit of Purdue in space. Mike Moses, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Chang. Yeah, I do have to say, boiler up, right? This is amazing, right? Boiler up. Yeah. It's an honor to join here at Purdue University, a place with rich tradition, exploration, innovation. As mentioned, it's also my twice alma mater, bachelor's degree in physics and a master's in aerospace engineering. And needless to say, that makes the partnership here between Purdue and Virgin Galactic very personal and exciting for me, right? It's also invigorating because of what it actually represents. And to steal a line from our great grad this building was named after, it is a giant leap forward in Virgin Galactic's mission to democratize the access to space for research and education. The Purdue One mission, set for 2027, is exactly what we envisioned when we built our spaceflight system and research platform, putting scientists, engineers, and students at the heart of discovery, enabling them to conduct and interact with human-tended experiments in suborbital space. Virgin Galactic's committed to opening space for human-tended research. We've developed and proven our spaceflight platform that helps make scientific research in microgravity environments more accessible, repeatable, and affordable. At the core, there are three key features that make our platform what it is. It's adaptable, it's human-centric, and it's accessible. First, our next-generation spaceship's adaptable. It's designed to be customized specifically for research missions. That means you can configure it in different ways: seats, lockers, racks, any combination you need for the experiments you want to run. Second, while we do fly automated experiments, our system is actually designed for the personal experience of spaceflight, intentionally suited to optimize human-tended research. This allows researchers to make real-time observations and adjustments to maximize data collection and scientific value. Human-tended experiments also tend to lower the cost of entry needed, as you can fly at an unprecedented frequency and not have to invest in automated payloads. Third, we've created a repeatable, cost-effective research platform that flies at a high frequency compared to traditional space research options. While the space industry typically measures flights and turnaround times between flights of a single vehicle in months, Virgin Galactic's next-generation spaceships are being built to operate at an average turnaround time of just 3 days, an enormous breakthrough that will change structurally the cost of access to space, making microgravity research significantly more accessible to institutions and customers that previously couldn't afford it. This frequent flight capacity with rapid turnaround times enables researchers to actually iterate on their experiments in ways never before possible, You can fly with your experiment, analyze the results, adjust your methodology, and fly again quickly, creating a true research feedback loop that accelerates scientific discovery. This model really transforms how microgravity research will be conducted in the future. As these Purdue experiments will demonstrate, suborbital research flights are also valuable as they serve as a stepping stone to orbital or lunar or Martian experiments and research. They allow you to test and refine the experiments before committing to more expensive and complex orbital missions. Virgin Galactic's suborbital platform provides more than 3 minutes of uninterrupted microgravity, a significant step up from the parabolic flights that so far Purdue students have enjoyed and experienced, without much terms of added cost. So in addition to improving life here on Earth, the data and insights gathered from research experiments like these can directly inform the future of space exploration, helping it make it more cost-effective, successful, and safe. Educational institutions represent an underserved but critically important capacity in space research. Brilliant minds, innovative ideas, but often lacking the resources for access to space. The partnership model between Virgin Galactic and Purdue University demonstrates how we can leverage our platform to provide unprecedented opportunities, combining research, learning, and career development in an accessible environment. For Virgin Galactic, we're establishing a new market category that transforms space from an exclusive government domain into one accessible to the educational platform. By serving these institutions, we want to build long-term customer relationships while developing the next generation of space professionals. Purdue One marks the beginning of a new era where university-led space research will become the norm and academic institutions become regular customers in space. We're not just advancing science, we're empowering the next generation of innovators and expanding frontiers. This mission is proof that space is now an accessible frontier. We're incredibly proud at Virgin Galactic to play a role in this moment, a university whose students and faculty continue to set the standard for excellence and exploration on this planet and beyond. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Steven Collicott, professor in the School of Aeronautics and Astronautics. His unique undergraduate class, Zero Gravity Flight Experiments, immerses aerospace engineering students in the design, build, test process for experiments and items that must function in the microgravity weightless environment of space. He also happens to have been my major professor when I was here for my master's degree doing research on liquid rocket injectors. Professor Colicott and his graduate student Abigail are poised to enter a new frontier in zero-gravity experimentation as they conduct their research in space during Purdue One aboard an upcoming Virgin Galactic suborbital flight. Dr. Collicott.
Thank you, Mike. That year with you out at our Aerospace Sciences Lab is still a fond memory, and it's just a real joy to be working with you again in this exciting format. But really, where do I begin? There's so many exciting aspects and parts to what President Chang just announced. And obviously, I'm excited to be a part of this mission, and yet my part of this mission is old news. December of 2021, NASA announced the selection of my proposal in a competition that funds my seat and my experiment on this flight. So I'm old news. But that was through NASA's Flight Opportunity Program. But now, Mike Moses just said 2027, right? So I'll be waiting 6 years. It's actually a lot longer than that. I've been waiting since late in the Gemini program when, as a child, I became captivated by the moon race. And I remember where I was watching Neil Armstrong step onto the moon. And right over there is where I stood when I shook his hand at the opening of this beautiful building that I'm so fortunate to go to work in every day. So indeed, Purdue is an amazing place. And what we are talking about here today really is the result of a good idea growing into a better idea and into an even larger, even cooler, astounding commitment by Purdue's College of Engineering, led by Dean Arvind Raman, that we are not going to be content with being one of the top engineering schools, but that we can build on the strength of our faculty, students, and alums to lead all other universities into the future with productive engineering education and research in space. Purdue is truly leading the way, and I'm delighted and excited to be a part of this trailblazing research mission. We're leading the way thanks in part to the efforts of many people at Purdue, in my department, in the college, and all over campus. I can't thank all of you by name. I really want you to know I thank you sincerely for your part in making today and the historic mission that today has announced happen. And spaceflight, throughout industry, spaceflight is a team effort. All right, and Purdue has a great team. My participation in this mission is made possible by NASA's Flight Opportunities Program, and the novel experiment which they are funding focuses on improving the control of a certain type of liquid motion in the weightlessness of spaceflight. Pardon me. Results will be applicable to a variety of spaceflight needs, such as the control of liquid rocket propellants in space, water management in life support systems and plant growth systems in long-duration spaceflight, and even aiding in the design of emergency surgical procedures for long-duration spaceflight. We are taking these experiments up to space because the weightlessness of spaceflight cannot be replicated here on the ground. I'm going to work in suborbital space to advance and to benefit future lengthy Moon and Mars missions. That's pretty cool. Abby, too, her experiment focuses on a different challenge in managing liquids while in weightlessness. The original version of her experiment was funded by NASA Flight Opportunities Program and flew as an automated experiment in June of 2024 on Virgin Galactic. It worked well. Jack Martin here was one of the students helping on site with that on the beautiful Galactic 7 mission. And so certainly I want to thank NASA's Flight Opportunities Program for their support and their confidence in me, and I am very eager to deliver on their confidence in me during this next mission. So we're working hard to succeed with this experiment. But who really is we? Well, me, of course, and my graduate students. Raise your hands. Yeah, okay. And number of technicians and machinists. I saw Tony here and probably Adarsh. And undergraduates in my zero gravity flight experiment class. Raise your hands. How many of you are here? Yeah, lots of them. All right. And so this is the 30th year of that unique class, design, build, test class, and it provides our students with powerful experiences working on real-world flight experiments in a team-based, multidisciplinary, no answers in the back of the book, engineering education format. And again, Purdue has a great team with which to lead the way. Now, some students here today may suddenly be thinking that they missed out by applying to graduate school a year too early or a year too late. Well, let me tell you, I advise all students here, don't limit your thinking to the good news we're announcing today, all right? In my 35 years here, I've seen so many students just like you go on, do amazing things, have great careers like Mike here, and in traditional space industries and now in the new space industry, as we call it. And space as an industry is advancing so rapidly now that I urge you to consider that you're about to discover unimaginable adventures just ahead of you, beyond what we're doing here, and that's really cool. For example, I read last week a startup company is now contracted to deliver helium-3 from the lunar surface to Earth, to a client on Earth by a given date. That's pretty amazing, okay? That's your future, beyond what we're doing here. And I love that part Mike said about iterative experiments. Sign me up. So, students, don't limit yourselves. Think big. So this mission is big in its own way, too. It's even more than the first graduate student doing their thesis research in space, which is just really cool. It is Purdue One mission with 2 large experiments operated by the researchers is, as Mike said, the start of a new era in scientific research. A few people have flown small pocket experiments. Others have worn medical sensors on suborbital flights. And that's cool, but Purdue One puts experienced fluids researchers into space with the experiments, with substantial experiments, up to 50 pounds each. And that's new and novel, and I think leading the way. Suborbital spaceflight, such as with Virgin Galactic, provides researchers with the highest quality weightlessness for the longest duration possible without going to orbit, and it does so for much, much less cost than going to orbit. So it's an exciting capability. This uniquely American industry has brought a powerful new research laboratory to the open market, and I am so delighted that Purdue One will show others how to work in this new laboratory. And again, Purdue engineering is leading the way. This is very exciting to me today. And now I want to hand off to a great crew member on this mission, who was the most impressive Purdue alumnus, Jason Williamson.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be back in the state of Indiana, and what an honor it is to be with a group of like-minded individuals such as yourself. I often have to pinch myself that this opportunity is before me. It seems so surreal to me. But for the record, I'm a professional engineer, not a professional public speaker, so please bear with me as we get through this. When I received the call that I had been selected for Purdue One, I was overwhelmed with several emotions. Surreal, impactful, honored. Those are just a few words that came to my mind, but they couldn't even begin to capture the depth of my feelings when I received that call. It's a combination of my Purdue pride connecting with a lifelong dream. Growing up, for me, spaceflight was always a dream. I immersed myself in the stories of astronauts and legends who came before me, finding inspiration in every launch and discovery. I spent my childhood poring over books, building model rockets and airplanes in my Indiana backyard. Going to space camp in high school was a pivotal moment for me. Our team won the trivia challenge, and believe it or not, this does exist. We were crowned the Space Bowl champions. And I've worn that for 35 years, and here we are. It might seem like a small thing, but it planted the seeds of persistence, ambition, and have carried me forward to where we are today. My dream of becoming a pilot was dashed when I learned I was colorblind. So Steven and Abby, don't let me touch red or green buttons. But now I'm looking forward to flying higher than I would have as a pilot. Now here I am, a part of a mission to suborbital spaceflight is proof that barriers can be broken. This moment is more than a personal achievement for me. It's a reminder that if you hold on to your dreams, no obstacles are insurmountable. As I reflect on this milestone, I can't help but think of my time at Purdue. Purdue was the foundation of so much in my life. My education, my values, my belief that big dreams are possible. Walking the same halls and learning in the same classrooms as so many who went to space before me, it was both inspiring and humbling. It was at Purdue that I learned the values of discipline, teamwork, and vision. These are lessons that have guided me in every step of my career in life, and not just academically, but as a leader and as a person. I found purpose in civil engineering, but as a leader and leading teams, I discovered I have a true passion for people. Because at the end of the day, it's about people, right? We're engineers, but it's people. And I am forever proud to be a Boilermaker. For me, this flight is an opportunity to give back to Purdue for all that Purdue has given me. Purdue has instilled into me the values of persistence, curiosity, and bold vision, the very spirit of the next giant leap. I am honored to carry that spirit with me as part of this crew. This journey is more about going to space. It is about the impact that we can have here on Earth. My connection to Virgin Galactic goes back a few years now. I was joined what they called then their next generation astronaut program, their next gen program, which allowed me to attend Galactic 6 mission at Spaceport America, New Mexico. Little did I know that on that chilly January morning in 2024 would be a defining moment in my spaceflight journey. And I was, of course, wearing my Purdue gear. I was wearing a Purdue vest that day. And I just didn't know what it would really turn into, right? So it's turned into something beautiful for me. And then I learned at that mission that Purdue and Virgin Galactic had some interwoven connections that I didn't know about. Researchers, astronauts, instructors, engineers, and leaders. It was only then that I began to see the Purdue connection. Just a few months later, I was invited back to attend the final commercial spaceflight of Unity, which was Galactic 7. And I was excited to learn that Dr. Colicott and his team were there flying their rotational slosh experiment. And now, here we are over a year later, we're crewmates aboard Purdue One. Whew, that's a lot. So when I strap in our seats and I hear release, 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 I won't just be thinking about my dream. I'll be thinking about the people who believed in me, the mentors who inspired me, the students I've encouraged, and the university that shaped me. I'll be thinking about what it means to represent Purdue on this extraordinary journey. This journey is not just about where we are going, but who we can lift up along the way. I want to express my sincere gratitude to Purdue University, my friends at Virgin Galactic, my coworkers, and my fellow crewmates. And when I met Dr. Collicott recently, he said, "Jason, boiler up, way up." Thank you for that. And now, I would like to introduce graduate student, researcher, and future astronaut, Abby Mizzi.
Oh my, well, good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us for this incredible announcement. I'm so filled with gratitude and thankfulness, most of all to my family for supporting me every step of the way, from my first visit at Purdue and deciding to become an engineer, to now this next step of grad school and all the challenges and victories that have come already and that are yet to come. Every step has been for them. Now to Purdue, this is the highest honor. My time here as an undergraduate challenged me. It pushed me in ways I never could have imagined and grew me in unexpected, exciting opportunities. That's why, when it came to graduate, I decided that my next step would be graduate school. I wanted to lead research, keep learning from our incredible professors, and mentor undergrads in the research process. Grad school was intimidating, but I was once told that if your next step isn't challenging you and pushing you out of your comfort zone, then maybe it's not the right step. So, from there, that advice carried me here. And a year ago, my plan was simple: to do grad school, work on research, and keep learning. Now, never did I imagine that my research would take me to space. And to get to be doing engineering in space makes it that much better. My research will focus on how propellants behave in microgravity, knowledge that will impact the future of all spacecraft missions moving forward. The chance to collect this data and make decisions in real time is incredibly unprecedented and so exciting to do as a graduate student. It will mark a change in how the aerospace industry community conducts research and spaceflight for the future, opening the doors for all the next students and researchers to extend beyond their laboratories here on Earth and go into space. But what makes this moment so special is that it's not just about me. It's about the entire Purdue community, and many of you that are here right now. Because it takes a village to get here, and only one as strong as Purdue's community could have gotten us and lifted us this far. For our alumni who champion the Purdue name, and our faculty who push us to think harder every day, and then to all of the students that are pushing us on all those late nights and really long homework assignments, this flight represents all of us. And at the heart of it all, just as many of us have said today, engineering is about people. Over the next few semesters leading up to this flight, there'll be many undergraduates, even some right now that are already working on the project, helping design it. We'll work with alumni to manufacture our parts that will fly with us, and we'll hear from many more faculty giving us wisdom and guiding us along the way. Every person who touches this mission will be adding a feather to the wings that are lifting us higher. And for me, this journey began in the suburbs of Chicago, where a dream of flying first took hold. Purdue gave me this community, the mentors, and the opportunities to turn that dream into a reality. And now, I have the honor of carrying Purdue's black and gold into space, not just for myself, but for every single one of you that have made this moment possible. So thank you. Thank you to my family who first believed in me, to Purdue for giving me the wings to fly, and to this entire community for showing me what it means to dream big together. Today is an incredible day, and I'm so, so grateful to be here. But this is only the beginning. We'll get to carry out so much more research, open the doors for many more students to follow, and lead on, because this is what truly matters. Purdue has always been about shaping what's next. And together, we're just getting started. Thank you. And now we'll kick it off for our panel hosted by Thendril Kamal.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Thendril Kamal, and I'm a senior studying aeronautical and astronautical engineering right here at Purdue. Since age 13, I've dreamed of becoming an astronaut myself, which is what propelled me to an institution like Purdue. As a student witnessing history right here in the making, it's beyond surreal for me to be standing here as your panel moderator for this segment. Today is about something that belongs to all of us. The very first All-Boilermaker spaceflight, Purdue One. Just take that in for a second. The university that sent Neil Armstrong into the moon and an entire cradle of astronauts into orbit is now preparing to launch our very own crew into space. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our panelists, Dr. Steven Collicott, Purdue's very own AE 418 professor and pioneer of reduced gravity research, Jason Williamson, Purdue alum and senior vice president at Dunaway, Abigail Mizzi, Purdue aerospace graduate student, and Jack Martin, a Purdue mechanical engineering PhD student. Dr. Collicott, Jason, and Abby will be our Boilermakers in orbit, and Jack will bring a unique ground crew perspective to this mission through his groundbreaking work on the experiment that will be launching along with the crew. Okay, the question everyone here is thinking, you're about to make history. What does it mean to each of you to be a Purdue One crew member?
Ooh, who wants that one?
All right, I'm at the end, I'll start. Obviously exciting, everybody will repeat that comment. It's great to help put Purdue in an even greater leadership position than it's been in for decades or a century. It's really exciting to be able to bring this to reality and make it happen, again, with the help of so many people throughout the college and Purdue leadership.
Yeah, I think for me to add to that, obviously it's an incredible and exciting opportunity, but just the opportunity to break some barriers, right? I think that's something that is really interwoven into what Purdue is about, and I believe that the three of us, supported by many, many others, are going to go break some barriers together. And, you know, I told myself I'm not going to cry, but it means a lot. It's incredible for me.
Oh, I mean, I 100% agree. It means so much to get to be on this experience, and I think it's just like me looking back at myself as a freshman. I'd be mind blown. Like hearing myself as a freshman, get to know what I'm doing now, and so that's just like what I think for all the current and like upcoming students, that this is just opening their eyes to what they can do when they go and do incredible things. And this is just one of the opportunities that they have beyond their many other countless ways to change the world.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you. And Abby, to your point, I mean, students, we're shaping the future right here at Purdue. And as a student myself, I have to ask you both, Jack and Abby, from your perspective, what does Purdue One say about our university's role in global aerospace research?
I mean, I think we all came to Purdue for various different reasons, but a lot of us came and are a part of the aerospace program because of Purdue's mantra. They're persistently pursuing the next giant leap, and we're at a very opportunistic time in our education and our lives and at Purdue University to kind of have that opportunity to push the envelope, to do a all-crewed spaceflight by a university is something that's unheard of, frankly, and with the support from Virgin Galactic and Purdue University, it's only going to be pushing the envelope for future students. I mean, I was very fortunate enough to have the opportunity to watch a payload go up to space and come down and actually get to do experimentation on it, and getting that data and watching that rocket motor ignite was a feeling unlike anything I've ever had before, and I know that's just the tip of the iceberg for what's going to come next for future Boilermakers.
The excitement is really palpable
It
in your
really
voice,
is.
I have to say. Abby, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just shows that engineering isn't applied work. We apply it to real problems, and we do it in the real world. And it doesn't just end in thermodynamics when we're writing down equations and solving for the answer. It's applied, and you get to do that here. You don't have to. You can just do it right here at Purdue. You can come to school and learn all the engineering and then apply it. And I think that's just so incredible.
You get to watch it in action, so you won't be writing equations in orbit, I assume.
No.
Yeah, I think it's amazing to know about the long-term impact of the research that our faculty and students are doing in-house. I mean, one of the reasons I chose Purdue is that we're not a school that just sits back and waits for history to happen. We hit ignition and we make it happen. And that line was specifically for my propulsion friends out there. So, looking beyond the here and now, every journey is shaped by certain defining moments. Jason, Professor Colicott, what have been the key moments that stand out for you on the road to Purdue One?
Ooh. Start that one, Steven.
Well, they were kind enough to hire me in 1991. That made a big difference. And it's been a great place to work. Joking aside, it's been a great career here. This is now my 35th year, and a lot of great things can happen here. I alluded to in my talk about good things kind of snowballing. It's great to see that here. My first student weightless parabolic flight project in 96 and 97 started me seriously into this line of experimentation. And now we've had 50 experiments on that airplane, and 11 Blue Origin. This will be our second and third Virgin Galactic payloads. So it's just a lot of different things coming together. And and then it was actually one of our alums who got me started with suborbital space industry in 2008. And if John hadn't done that, I don't know if I'd be sitting here. So there's just a lot of things over the years, and just fell in the right order.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel like happenstance for me. I left the university nearly 30 years ago, started designing nuclear power plants across the United States, buildings and bridges and things of that nature. And obviously that was not in the aerospace, right? But I never lost touch with Purdue. I always felt a bit of gratitude for what Purdue had done for me, volunteering at local schools in the DFW area and working Purdue Pride events. That connection was always there for me, and I wanted to find a way to give back. Come to campus quite frequently and talk to students. But it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I discovered that there is this unique possibility that two of my extreme passions could collide. I met Mike a couple of years ago and Beth, and you see this array of Purdue alum, and you're like, goodness, they are just amazing human individuals. But now here we are. So I think the journey started for me years ago. Vendrell, thank you. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely inspired. Speaking of defining moments, I think we hinted a little bit about the experiment. The defining science of this mission is the experiment itself. So let's dive into that. Jack, tell us about the experiment.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it high level, although I know the people in the crowd are totally going to understand what I'm saying. So the work that we did on the previous one was looking at the propellant in the fuel tank. So we had fuel tanks modeled after the Cassini craft that we put up there, and this was an entirely autonomous payload. So we set it up so that we would actually perturb the liquid inside of these tanks. So then we would be able to observe via cameras inside the system exactly how all this stuff moved around inside of it, which would help us kind of understand exactly how the propellant in these much, much larger tanks is going to be perturbed when we're actually sending stuff up to space. So in the future, what we're going to be doing is actually a human-tended version that Professor Colicott is going to get to interact with, and Abby's going to get to interact with as well. So we're going to take half the autonomy out of it. We're still going to have a little bit in there, but he's going to actually be perturbing it himself, and we're going to get video of that as well. So hopefully in the future, we'll be able to use this for stability. For example, if we want to send a telescope up to space and we want to get a really great image of something way out there, you're looking at a field of view that's maybe 0.001 degree, and if you have a little perturbation in there, you're not going to be able to actually get the angle in the camera shot that you actually want. So hopefully we're going to be able to learn from this and be able to adapt even with like docking systems and kind of push the envelope on what we already know with that and kind of make it a system that we can use our experiment work to further.
Wow, that's amazing. How does it feel knowing as an undergraduate student and so on and so forth to PhD level, how does it feel knowing that something you worked on, something with your fingerprints on it is going up to space?
Yeah, I'll say when we were down on the ground, there was always the possibility that even if the mothership was up there, that something could happen. So we were waiting for that smoke to come out of the rocket motor. So when we finally looked up and we saw a little tail going up, we were like, oh, it's going, it's officially going up to space. And at that point on, we were just like, please work, because autonomy is a funny thing because it does kind of what it wants. You tell it what to do, but as some of my fellow students know, code works as well as the people who coded it. So we were obviously hopeful that it was going to come back down, but we wouldn't know until we got the box off the craft and actually opened it up and looked at the video. And when we had it in our hands, we were like, man, this thing just came from space, which being somebody who's worked their whole life to get to space, to put work into space, it's really incredible to know that I had a hand in something that actually flew up there.
That's fantastic, and honestly quite reassuring to hear as well that the code is going to work as
Yeah.
intended.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, yes, of course. We don't deal in absolutes, we're engineers.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm also curious, so we're currently, we're in September 2025. It's a long road to 2027. How do you expect to kind of, get through training and grow together as a crew in the steps up to Purdue One in 2027?
Oh gosh,
Our crew.
I'll just kind of jump in there. I was on campus maybe a month or so ago and had the privilege of meeting Steven and Abby for the first time. And for me personally, I can tell you that I could not be more pleased with my crewmates, and I feel like we kind of hit it off very quickly. I think we started planning like some trips together. Just get ready, we're gonna need some funds here, but. Doing some zero-G training and go to Navstar, go to Spaceport America perhaps, and go see Delta, things like that I think would be remarkable. And we had a lovely dinner together as a team last night, and we were kind of joking, like whoever is coming with us, we're going to be the selection committee for our fellow crewmates. That's probably not the case, but we're very excited to be working together and spending the next year or two together and really sharing this journey with each other. It's been great.
Professor Colicott, Abby?
Well, yeah, there's, Jason brings up a point for alums listening on this and reading this. Get in touch if you're interested. Probably the dean's office. And we have some, there is no great training required to fly on these vehicles. Yet to fly and be ready to do research, we are going to be doing some training. We're going to get Abby and Jason some zero gravity experience in parabolic aircraft flight. And Jason mentioned NASTAR Center north of Philadelphia does some centrifuge simulations of space missions, and we're going to go there and get used to the G level so that when I get to weightlessness, I'm ready to deliver for my research sponsor. So it's risk reduction for research success is what we're doing. But for human factors, it's a great ride. I'm not worried about that at all. But to be better researchers, we're doing some training.
Yeah, and it's definitely a unique experience because when you're designing a payload box, it's about the size of your carry-on suitcase, imagine. When you're looking at the payload box here on Earth, you can imagine what it would be like. But then when you go into space, all of your assumptions of how your perspective or what angles you're looking at the box completely change. And so it's going to be very exciting to be thinking through all of those different operating environment changes that will occur when we take our payload box and bring it into space and make sure that it's still as easily operatable as down here on Earth, as easy to understand and to navigate when you're in a unique and different environment, because you don't always expect things when you go to a new place. So bringing our known thing into an unknown is going to be really important to make sure we know all of our assumptions and think about everything that could potentially occur on the flight and make sure that we have as much success as possible.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Crew and Jack. Well, it wouldn't be the end of a panel if we didn't have a few questions from the audience. So interested students, please feel free to raise your hand. I will scan the audience really quick. Yes.
My name is Jackson. I'm a senior studying aeronautical and astronautics engineering. My big question for you guys is, what do you hope this mission will demonstrate about the potential of commercial suborbital flights for advancing science and student learning?
Sounds like
Don't all
Professor
rush at
Colicott.
once.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's looking at me. I think, like I've said in my talk, it's Purdue leading the way. Leading the way to what? Leading the way into a new era of all kinds of science happening in space. Abby and I talk about fluids. I've made my career here doing fluids research. That's natural for me. But there's many other people out there too. And if you look at, why go to weightlessness? Why go to space? It's really because we can't do that work here on Earth, or it uncovers things about the physics of the behavior on Earth that show up stronger in weightlessness when gravity's gone. So it's all across the board, people are going to do things. And the fact that this new suborbital commercial spaceflight, Virgin Galactic, leading the way here, is so much more affordable than any orbital option, and so much more accessible, quicker, and all that. I think it's just going to, the impact of this could be, it just opens the door to other universities following our example and flying their own researchers and students.
Yeah, and as students too, we kind of have two paths. As a lot of us want to go into the aerospace industry, there's the private sector and then the public sector. So this is kind of one of those great opportunities to get to experience what commercial space is like. So being on the kind of quote unquote receiving end of the hospitality committee, which Virgin has a phenomenal one, as we were talking about at dinner last night, it's just a really great experience to kind of see, okay, you can kind of understand what the public sector is going to look like, but really with all these different companies, they're all going to be so different. It's really a great opportunity to get to experience the commercial space sector for the first time.
Thank you. It looks like we have time for just one more question. Yes, sir. I think there's a microphone. Yep.
Thanks a lot for the session, and I'm really excited for Purdue One. I had a general question. So, as we already know, that Professor has flown a lot of fluid experiments in space, and now with Abby with her payload as well. Congratulations, by the way. I'm a bit curious. Are there any directions apart from fluids that might be particularly of interest, or like something that you might want to explore over in the future?
Yeah, there's a lot of applicable topics. Good question. Already I've seen automated experiments on material properties. I've seen biological experiments in suborbital space, gene expression from plants at different parts of the mission. A good friend wants to look out, astronomical observations out the window while up there. Others want to look down, sensors for Earth observation. And atmospheric sampling in this poorly understood region of the atmosphere. Human factors. People are interested in how the human body adjusts in the first couple minutes of weightlessness, because all orbital astronauts are pretty well belted into a seat at that point, whereas here you can get up and float and have immediate data on how the human body responds initially to the absence of gravity, and also how plants respond is also leading into that work. What else? I don't want to hog it here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the plant perspective as well is just like very important for long-term life on other planets. We have to know how to grow plants if there's different gravity effects compared to down here on Earth. So it's really all-encompassing what suborbital space opens up our research to, and what new ideas can be pursued now that people see that this is possible, and this is a way that you can go further your research.
Thank you. Now, we'll be wrapping up this panel shortly, but you'll have to forgive my curiosity here. What is one fun thing you're excited to do when you're up in space? And Jack, I think I speak for everyone in this room when I say we see the makings of an astronaut in you. What's the one fun thing you'd like to do when you go to space in the future someday?
start?
Oh gosh, well, the first thing I'll do is stay out of their way so I don't interrupt any experiments, so that'll be my major goal. But I think, just taking a moment to reflect, right? What we are able to do in this experience is not lost on me, right? This is a responsibility. So for me, I'll be reflecting on the moment, everything that led to this particular event, and maybe do a cartwheel. So.
Definitely the carpet.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I think the science, leading the way in science is going to be pretty intensely exciting, and things happen pretty quick. I'm going to probably feel like I'm bringing the basketball down with 7 seconds on the clock to win the game. And then working with the liquids, there's going to be periods where the liquid motion needs to settle out and decay, and that's when I get a chance to look. That's the only chances I'll get to look out the windows, so I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm pretty similar. I love traveling the world and seeing different national parks. So this new way to see the world and just appreciate the beauty of it, I'm very excited for. In between getting the very exciting data that we'll be working hard for these next few years.
Yeah, I think, like you've mentioned, I've got to wait a few years. Hopefully it's only a few years.
Purdue 2.
Purdue 2, right, Purdue 2. Just announced. But for me, one of the things that really got me into space was the first image of the pale blue dot taken by Voyager 1. And ever since that, I've always wanted to look down on where, as of right now, 100% humanity has began and ended. And I think that's really a surreal moment, being able to look out the windows, and that's something that I really hope to get to experience one day.
Very well said. We're all really excited for you, and we're all excited for you as well. Please join me in thanking our incredible panelists, Jack, the crew of Purdue One. Thank you all to every Boilermaker who joined us for this announcement today. Folks, I believe that this isn't just another press event. This is the first time in history that a university has ever sent its own crew into space. That makes today not just a milestone for Purdue University and Virgin Galactic, but for the entire story of commercial spaceflight. In the near future, when Purdue One launches, the world will be watching. And you and I will be able to look back and say that the countdown to that future began right here in the Neil Armstrong Hall of Engineering. Every day, as President Chang said, the next era of exploration is being imagined in our labs and classrooms by students and faculty. So, I'll leave you with this. What role will you play in the next giant leap for humanity? Will you design it, fly it, or maybe you will teach the ones who will? My name is Steven Collicott, and it has been an honor to be your panel moderator today. Boiler up and Godspeed Purdue One.